Hello everybody, my name is Nathan ELEMENTofFROST back here again to bring you guys my weekly predictions for The Walking Dead. That's right guys, today we're doing episode predictions on Season 5 of The Walking Dead. This is episode 2, entitled Strangers. That's right guys, we know the titles of about the first 4 episodes, obviously. Uh, Obviously the premiere, in one. Now we get the title of the second one, we also have the title of the third and fourth as well. So obviously I'll be reviewing those in their respective weeks over the next couple weeks, and stuff like that. And kind of just predicting, I suppose, is what's going to happen. So, anyways, of course, my predictions do kind of contain minor spoilers from previous episodes and previous seasons of The Walking Dead. Kind of just connecting things together to try to predict what's really going to happen next, if you guys know what I mean. So, to get right into it, this is Season 5, Episode 2, entitled Strangers, and we're going to read the synopsis that is on the AMCTV.com website. Okay, so the synopsis of this episode is, with supplies running low and not knowing whether to trust the people around them, Rick leads a mission where the risk might not be worth the reward. Okay. So, obviously, I mean, this could very blandly just mean, obviously the supplies are getting low and they have to run a mission where obviously the risk, which would be, walkers and, other survivors may be catching up with them, stuff like that. Just in general, an all-around threat because they're in a zombie apocalypse. So there is that risk, and then, it might not be worth the reward. So it could be the very simple point that the risk might not be worth the reward. Like, we don't want to risk our lives going out there to, maybe get one can of food out of this whole big run, you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously not a guaranteed thing that they know there's a big stash of supplies or something like that. So it could just be that simple. But I don't think so. With The Walking Dead, it's never really that simple. I mean, we did have some simple things like that back in Season 2 and back in Season 1, most likely Season 1 because of the prison being Season 3 and 4. And the end of Season 4, obviously, as well. So there is that. But I do know that a little bit of a character is going to be premiering this episode. Thus being because of the promo for this episode at the end of last episode, and also sneak peeks that we've seen as well. One on Talking Dead and one on the AMC.com website and the AMC YouTube channel. So I'll leave the link to that sneak peek in the description below if you guys want to check it out. I'll leave the link to the promo as well. So I'll leave both links in the description below. Definitely go check those out. Basically, it looks like they're going to be staying at a church. Presumably, it's going to be Father Gabriel's church. And I do believe Father Gabriel is going to take them there. Hey, you just saved me in the woods. Let me save you. Because in the sneak peek, what's happening in this episode, in the sneak peek of the episode, basically Rick and his group, they're walking through the woods, they're talking, and then they hear this guy yelling and yelling and yelling. And, they start to move towards him, and then it cuts to a scene where it's Father Gabriel on top of a rock sort of area, and there's walkers reaching up at him. He really doesn't have anywhere to go. He's completely surrounded. And Rick and the group are heading towards them because, Carl is basically saying, Dad, let's go save him. He hears them yelling and he's like, all right, let's go save him. We got to do this. This is still who we are. Blah, 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 blah. Point is, he goes and they try to save him, probably with quite a bit of succession as well because, like I said, they do end up at a church further on in the episode. At least this is what I'm getting from the promo. Now, I know Father Gabriel isn't going to be exactly what he seems. Obviously, he is a priest, but he's probably not going to be a nice priest to start off, in all honesty. If you guys read anything about the comic books, this is a little minor spoilers. It's not really, a big storyline plot or anything like that. But in the comic books, Father Gabriel was actually working with the Hunters, which in this case, the Hunters are obviously Terminus. Basically, Father Gabriel's job in the comic books was kind of to give people sanctuary and then let the Hunters take from those people, if you guys know what I mean. the hunters in the comic book were really just a group inside of the woods somewhere, hence the reason why they're called the hunters. They don't really actually have a big sanctuary or anything like that. So basically Father Gabriel's job in the comic book was to basically offer sanctuary in this church to people who wanted it, obviously, people who needed it. He had food, stuff like that, and he kind of just baited them in there, and then in exchange for, supplies and sanctuary and safety from the hunters, he would let the hunters obviously take from the groups that he's kind of gathered at his church. So basically he was kind of the gatherer, I guess, if you will. So that was his job in the comic books. Now, I don't know if that's going to be his job in the show. Unfortunately, I don't know. Because, in all honesty, I have a really big feeling because of that black car with the white cross painted on it. Obviously, that's some sort of a priest vehicle or like some sort of a church company vehicle or something like that. Actually took Beth away in the show. This is how Beth actually, kind of got away from Daryl. I don't want to really say got away because, obviously she didn't choose to run away. But this is what took Beth away. Now, maybe instead of working for the hunters, maybe he's part of this bigger group at that hospital that we've actually seen inside of the Walking Dead Season 5 trailer. Now, obviously, this is just my predictions. This is kind of just a hunch. It's not really anything big or anything like that could really spoil the story, because obviously I don't know for sure. But maybe instead of working for the hunters, or in this case Terminus, maybe he's working for this bigger kind of sanctuary hospital group that does science experiments or something like that. It's kind of like a psycho ward. If you guys seen the Season 5 trailer, you guys know exactly what I mean. It's about the last 30 seconds of the trailer, so definitely check that out. We basically see Beth inside of this hospital, and this girl is basically, Beth really, obviously she hasn't, she isn't having the greatest time of her life inside of that hospital, because the girl's kind of a bitch, and, rightfully so, I guess. It's kind of a zombie apocalypse. You gotta be a bitch sometimes. But basically, she's like, every sacrifice we need to make, it has to be for the greater good, and in here, you're not the greater good, blah, 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 blah. So maybe there's something going on with that part of the hospital. I don't know exactly what that whole storyline is, because that actually hasn't even been in the comic books before. Unless it's a branch off of the Alexandria Safe Zone, which I highly doubt that it is, because it doesn't look like much of a sanctuary to Beth right now, you know what I mean? Like, the bitch at the end of the trailer, she pistol whipped the shit out of Beth, and I just don't see Beth getting out of there, unless, of course, Daryl and the group kind of run across that and, kind of maybe suspect something's wrong with Father Gabriel, and you kind of can get that vibe that Rick doesn't really like him too much in the promo, because he's like, I don't trust this guy, and in the trailer, they actually made us to believe that the person he doesn't trust is Gareth, but I really don't think that's the case in this instant. I honestly, I don't think that's the case, that he doesn't trust Gareth. Obviously he doesn't trust Gareth. Why would they have to, kind of reiterate that? So I think it's supposed to be towards Father Gabriel in a sense. So, something might happen that, Father Gabriel's goes off and something, stay here, blah, 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 and kind of Rick follows him, or, Daryl follows them. They do some sort of tracking method, and they actually end up finding Beth. Maybe Daryl comes across that black car with the white with the white cross painted on the back. Maybe he comes across that car in the next episode, or maybe the next episode after that. Maybe he comes across that car and is like, shit, that's the exact same car that they took Beth away in. Obviously this guy has something to do with it, so let's either question him or, follow him to somewhere maybe he's going to go. Maybe he's going to go on a quote run, or, something like that. This is just my predictions, in all honesty. I don't really have, a direct say-so of what's going to happen specifically in this episode. All of this could really take place outside of this episode, the next episode after that, or, it could take place anywhere in the season, or, hell, it might not take place at all. I might completely be off topic and, not really know what I'm talking about. But that being said, I mean, obviously it is a prediction video, so it's not a, I know exactly what's going to happen, so I'm going to spoil the shit out of it with you. This is my thoughts on what could be happening. Although I'm sure you guys know that. So, yeah, that's honestly what I think is going to be happening in the next episode, or, in future episodes after that. Who knows if all that's going to happen in the next episode or not. There's not really, much telling, considering from the next episode, all we really always get is a synopsis, a sneak peek, and a promo. And, in the promo, it does show us a little bit about the church that they're in. It seems like they're in some sort of a flooded basement or something like that. Or that could be a completely different building in its own run. But I'm not too sure. And I think we're going to find out next episode exactly who and what Father Gabriel is. I don't know why I said what. Obviously he's not a what. He's a he. But anyways. Yeah, I do think we're going to find out kind of who he is. Maybe we'll get a good vibe to maybe who we think he is as a person. Maybe, maybe the characters won't know. Sometimes, like in a TV show or a movie, he does stuff kind of behind the character's back, so the character doesn't obviously know that they're bad, but obviously the viewer does, because, you've seen it being done. Something like that might happen, and then, they might lead you to be like, oh, Rick, come on, you don't see this? Something like that. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be something obvious like that. Or, they're just going to outright find that black car with the white cross painted on the back. And then Daryl, I believe, is probably going to go apeshit on Father Gabriel. So, yeah, I do think they're going to save Father Gabriel from that rock inside of the forest. I do think Father Gabriel's going to be like, shit, thank you for saving my life. You may come back to my church. I have food, supplies, stuff like that. That actually could be the risk and the reward. Obviously, while supplies are running low and not knowing whether to trust the people around them, that being, I don't know whether to trust this Father Gabriel guy, Rick leads a mission where the risk might not be worth the reward. So, he could say, come back to my camp, come back to my church. I do have supplies, I do have food, everything like that. But that's a risk, man. You know what I mean? It might not be worth the reward. Maybe you're not going to get squat. There's always a risk. I mean, there was Terminus, for Christ's sakes. You got lid there, and, they almost died. They almost got eaten. So, I mean, there are sanctuary places like that, but it never seems to be what it seems to be, I guess, is the way to put it. It's never what it seems to be. For example, with the prison, that was fine, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, Rick was leading it and stuff like that. The council was leading it, and they were taking in people, that was a good thing. That was actual sanctuary. Then, there was Woodbury. That was not good. Once you got in, he was nice to you and everything, but you were not getting out of there. And if you did get out of there, you wouldn't survive too long. Just ask Michonne and ask Merle, who did most of the hunting down for the governor and the gathering of the heads. But anyway, so there is Woodbury. That was never a good thing. And then there was Terminus. Clearly, that's not a good thing either, because we just seen that get blown to smithereens in the last episode. And, the Father Gabriel's church, that might not be a good thing either. So that's obviously the risk. That could be definitely the risk. But yeah, I do think that's what's going to happen. They are going to save him. They're going to go back to his church, try to get some supplies, stuff like that to kind of hang out there. Like I said, maybe Darrow's going to find that black car with the white cross painted on the back and, start questioning and stuff like that. Shit's going to go down, I believe, in the next episode. And, whether or not we'll see Morgan, I honestly, I don't see it as of now, because actually I did take notice in the last episode when Rick put no sanctuary on that sign and kind of rubbed all the rest out with the mud. It was rather clear, if you guys know what I mean. Like, the sign was kind of just out in the open, there was nothing really around it. But then when Morgan's seen it at the end of the episode, it kind of leads us to believe, maybe either that or it was just an editing mistake. It kind of leads us to believe that he's maybe behind Rick by, a time jump of so many months. I wouldn't suspect weeks. If this was the case, it would definitely be a time jump of months. So definitely the time jump should be in there, kind of somewhere around the lines, because by the sign, when Rick wrote it, there was nothing around it. It was completely clear. And then when Morgan found it, there was a bunch of shrub growing around it, and, the mud was kind of tainted, a different color than what it was when Rick first put it up. So it's clearly not exactly, directly after Rick, not like a couple hours away, or, anything like that. I'm thinking there's kind of a big time jump, you know what I mean? Maybe Morgan was on the road, he's seen these train tracks leading to Sanctuary, Terminus, those who arrive survive, and then he came across that sign and it said no Sanctuary, and it's all wiped out. And then, of course, there's the tracking mark on the tree that Rick and everybody was using to kind of track their steps, and basically, I think, personally, kind of lead more people who was following the train tracks saying no Sanctuary, if you want Sanctuary, come to us, is what I think was actually trying to... what Rick was trying to get across to everybody is that. So I don't think we're going to see Morgan in the next episode, maybe the next episode or the next episode after that. I do think we're going to see more of Morgan. Somehow, some way, they're going to get Morgan back in the storyline, and I believe it's going to be full-time because Low Winter Sun, AMC's newest show, oldest show, actually got canceled for a second season. So the second season isn't happening. That means Lenny James, the guy who plays Morgan, is now free. He doesn't actually have any shows that he's working on right now, so he can do The Walking Dead if he wants to do The Walking Dead. And obviously something's going to go down that he is going to be doing The Walking Dead, because why would they, make him come back at the end of the premiere episode, obviously out of his little town, out of his little sanctuary, trying to look for some other people, trying to join up with them. So yeah, like I said, I do think he's going to be coming back in, future episodes. I don't know if it's going to be, right away. I don't know if he's going to meet up with Father Gabriel and all those, kind of meet up with Rick then, or anything like that. I don't know if that's going to happen. Honestly, I do predict that he's probably going to be meeting back up with them probably mid-season finale, somewhere around there. I mean, when they kind of get to some sort of a safe zone. Because I just don't see him joining the group on the road, you know what I mean? He had something pretty good back there in the town, so I don't really see him just joining, when they're on the road. That's how they did it in the comic book. They were on the road. Rick kind of came and got him from his house and stuff like that. But I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think maybe he's going to run into him, and then maybe they'll find Alexandria Safe Zone together, or something like that. But something like that's going to happen, and I'm very, very excited for it, and hopefully you guys are too. So that's basically it for this week's episode predictions for The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 2, Strangers. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you agree with any of my predictions, leave it in the comment section below, or tell me in the comment section below what your predictions are. Tell me what you think is going to happen in this next episode. And that's basically it for now. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit it up with a like, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, guys, reviews go up Mondays after the episode airs, and predictions go up Thursdays before the episode airs. Alright, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.